What is up, all you individuals out there? It's me, full-time anime man, and I'm here with the next edition of What If Deku Was an Ice Wolf, Part 8. And so, let's go ahead and get into the story. The boys then backed up with a surprised look. Shoto gets in a fighting stance while Izuku stands there calmly. Endeavor looks at Izuku and he says in an angrily voice, "You." Taking a few steps towards Izuku, he says, "How dare you try and jeopardize my name as a hero? I've worked very hard to be where I am right now, and I'll be damned if I let it all go to waste because of a useless wolf dog punk like you." Shoto speaks up. "Hey, quit yelling at him. All this is on you. If you had simply have been a good father to Izuku, none of this would be happening right now." Endeavor turns his attention to Shoto and says, "Not another word, boy." Shoto grins his teeth and he says, "No, I'm done being silent and you're about to hear the truth. You hurt Izuku and you locked him in the back of the house and you treated him like a dog. You neglected 3 of your other children ever since the day you deemed them failures. And to make things even worse, you either ended up pushing Toya too hard or you ended up hurting him. And at the end, you never cared. You are a horrible human being and you deserve to lose the right to be called a hero." The flaming hero then huffed and puffed with steam coming out of his nostrils. Taking a step towards Shoto, Izuku steps in front of Shoto and he flexes his hand out and touches his father's chest. Endeavor wasn't sure what it was, but something about Izuku's touch calmed him. He had a temporary calm expression on him until Izuku spoke. "Dad, it's okay. There's no need to be scared." Endeavor then changed his calm expression back to his furious look. With his right hand, he then grabbed Izuku's left wrist and placed it off of him. Shoto, about to do something, was stopped when the grip on his hand on Izuku's tightened. Endeavor speaks. "I am not scared of anything, and don't you call me Dad. Do you have any idea what will happen if I end up losing my hero license? The crime rate around Japan will skyrocket at a high level, and not even the licensed heroes or even All Might will be able to handle them on their own. I am the strongest hero of them all. And I want you to acknowledge this. For every innocent drop of blood, for every robbery, assault, kidnapping, it's all on your hands." Izuku looks to his father's eyes, and with sorrow, he saw that his father was scared about what was going to happen if he did either lose his hero license or ended up in prison. Endeavor loosens his grip on Izuku's wrist, and Izuku is freed. Izuku tries giving his father a hug, but even when he tries to reach around him to hug him, Endeavor then pushed him down to the ground, and Izuku fell to the ground with Shoto stumbling backwards with him. Rei then gets in between her husband and her sons and says, "Enji, just stop. He's trying to be nice to you and show you sympathy, and you push him down? What is wrong with you?" "That thing has been nothing but a thorn in my side ever since the day that you gave birth to it. That thing has been nothing but a thorn in my side ever since the day that you gave birth to it. And just about the time that it actually came back, it damn near killed me. I'm practically crippled right now and need a cane to assist me in walking. It has been nothing but trouble, and it was either better off wherever the hell it was." Looking past Ray, he sees that the boys are holding hands, but totally not by purpose. And Endeavor says, "And stop touching my masterpiece, you filthy dog!" He walks towards Izuku and Shoto to separate them, but Rei gets in front of him again, and she says, with a furious tone in her voice, "Leave them alone." Endeavor speaks. "Woman, move. Izuku remembers that night when he said that things didn't really end out so well. Ray, with a serious look on her face, says, "No." Endeavor grows even more angry and he says, "I said." Before he could even finish that sentence, Ray then smacked him across the face. The boys were surprised by their mother's actions as a small smile comes across Izuku's face, but he covers his mouth up. Endeavor leaned against the table while looking in the direction where his wife slapped him. Enji was really taken off by that hit and was still processing what had just happened. He slowly looks up to his, something you should never do, angry wife, and he sees the fire in her eyes while she clenches her fists. And in arm's reach of him, she speaks. "That it is your son, you hot-headed lump. Deal with it. And also, I have had it enough to hear with your damn ignorance. I did not cheat on you with anybody. If you were the bigger man here, that you would apologize to these boys. And if you can't seem to do that simplest thing, then just get the hell out of here. I don't even want to look at you right now." Endeavor, that was still bewildered of what just happened, he looks down to Izuku and Shoto, and he grabs his cane and he leaves the room with a small limp. He shuts the door, and when he reaches outside, he sees Detective Alexander and Inspector Frank. Frank says, "We saw the whole thing that happened in there, NG. You either need to get some counseling yourself or go to that mental hospital, because I'm starting to think that your wife's not the one who should be there." Alexander says, "And I will report what you did in that room today, and the judge will see it. So you better prepare yourself." They both leave the area, and NG is now alone in the hallway. NG starts walking towards the exit. Back in the room, Ray took a seat, and Izuku got up along with Shoto, and they both comforted their mom. Shoto asking, "Mom, are you okay?" She lifts her head up, and she says, "Yeah, I'm fine. What about you boys?" "Well, we're fine, Mom. Are you sure you're okay?" "Yeah, it's just... I'm just overflowing with emotions right now. I haven't felt this way in a long time. But don't worry. Don't worry. I promise you guys I'm fine." "Well, I'm glad to hear it," said Shoto. Anyway, a few minutes would pass, and the investigator and detective would re-enter the room and told Ray that she had to go back to the hospital. "Well, what about Izuku?" asked Shoto. Frank says, "Well, he's going to have to stay in police custody. Don't worry, he's going to have a private cell." "So, Shoto, Mr. Todoroki, have you found a way to separate yourself from him?" Shoto looks at Izuku and then his mother and says, "No, I haven't." "Oh well, that's unfortunate. I guess she'll have to spend the night with him." Ray speaks. "I mean, does Izuku really have to? You both said it yourself. He wasn't lying about anything, and that parasite in his head made him do it. It's not his fault. Why can't you just let him go home and have the police keep a close eye on him there?" Frank lets out a deep sigh and he says, "Well, Miss Todoroki, your son is still considered a threat. Not to mention, he has a court date coming in a few days. And the police and pro-heroes just want to be safe. Sure, your son is free from the parasite, but we still can't take any risks." Ray then turns around and faces her two sons. She then takes them by both of their chins, making sure that they are looking at her. and she says, "It's going to be alright, boys." She looks to Izuku and takes him by the hand, and he says, "Do you believe me?" "Yes, I do." She then takes Shoto's hand and says, "Do you believe me?" "Yes." "Okay then." She then hugs her sons one last time before she is escorted to the hospital, and Izuku and Shoto are escorted to their cell. In the cell was a ordinary bunk bed with a toilet that was made of metal and a sink that was attached to it. Frank said, "Good night, boys. Hopefully in about a few more days, you guys can walk free from here." Izuku then said, "Well, I call the top bunk." "I guess that means I got the bottom bunk," said Shoto. The boys then climbed into their beds. Izuku lays on his stomach while Shoto lays on his back. Izuku's hand was dangling from the top of the bed while Shoto's arm was forcefully being held upwards. A moment of silence goes by, and Izuku says, "Hey, Shoto." "Yeah, what's up?" "I just wanted to say, I'm sorry." "You're sorry? What are you sorry for?" "Well, it's just, what I have on my mind is about what happened in the fire zone." A small flashback ensues when Izuku first cut Shoto with his ice katana. "Hey," and then it ended, "Hey, don't worry about that. You weren't in control. Besides, you made it up to me by healing my wounds, and then you helped save my friends. By the way, what is that move called again?" "I call it the Kiss of Sira. The first time I met her, she did her best to heal my wound I had on my face, but she could only heal it so much that it eventually healed into the scar that you see." "Yeah, I saw that," said Shoto, "and I'm sorry as well." "It's okay, man. You you were just protecting me. You just made a last split-second choice." "Yeah, I did. You know something? I think about that night and I wonder, did I put you in danger? When the, when the parasite showed up, the hell, quote unquote, as it called it said that I put you through it. But what I saw, it looked like you were, looks like you found a new family. The family of wolves. Tell me this. Hmm? Was Shao a replacement for me? Was he like a brother to you?" Izuku chuckles and says, "To me, with them, there was a version for everybody. Sira was mom, Khan was a better version of dad. As for Foyumi and Natsuo and Toya, who wasn't already considered family back then? But of course, there was something at night where I fell asleep and I always had a certain thought in my mind that something or someone was missing. And now I know. It was my true family." Izuku tightens his grip on Shoto's hand, meaning that he was talking about them. Shoto smiles and Izuku says, "Can you tell me something?" "Sure. What's on your mind?" Izuku sighs and says, "I can remember down to the very last detail of that night when the Nomu attacked them. But before that, I remember the last words that Sira told me. She said that I am Lopus. It's a wolf constellation, and that I was meant to be the light that shines the path of hope. But ever since I got back here, I felt like all I've brought was destruction and despair for any person that I came in contact with. I met the League of Villains, I hurt All Might, and even more than he already was. And Dad. A flashback entered Izuku's mind when he remembered seeing his dad in that bad state that he put him in. Maybe he was right about me. Maybe I am an abomination. Izuku remembers everything his father said about him in the interrogation room. The words still echo in his mind. I'm sorry. Shoto then got up from his bed and then he turned his head to his twin brother while he was still laying on his bed, who was still laying in his bed. Shoto spoke up with great determination. Izuku, life is life is very complicated. People are meant to go through all walks of life. There are going to be certain days where it's going to be pretty tough. That's why you should make the strength to fight through it and never lose hope. And you're not an abomination, Izuku. You're my brother. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. And the chaos you think that follows you, it's not your fault. You were tricked and you were lied to. All this stuff that has been going on is because of the League of Villains. They put you through these things, and they put you that thing in your head and made you do that stuff. But you're free now, and now you can make your own choices. And even if there's the slightest doubt in your mind, just remember what you did. You fought back, you did the right thing, and you saved lives. And it honestly surprises me because I just now noticed this. You didn't let Dad's words get to you in the room, and you even tried to offer him a hug just to calm him down. You're wise and you're caring, like the person I know you are. And from this day forward, let's face these challenges that life has to throw at us together, like it should have been in the beginning. Izuku's eyes would drip with tears from Shoto's words. Izuku feels a great relief and that his real family believes in him. He hasn't felt this way or hopeful in quite a while now. It feels spectacular to him. Izuku speaks. Thanks, Shoto. That makes me feel a lot better, actually. And in fact, let's make a vow as well. Izuku then got out of the top bunk and then he raised the hand that him and his brother were stuck by and says, from this day forward, what you consider as our father's quirk is no longer his. Shoto interrupts him, saying, but I thought you said, yep, wait a minute, wait, I know what I said, just let me finish. But instead, let's consider this fire ours, the one that we share. Let's use it how we want to protect others and to make this world a better place. Do you agree? Shoto would then smile and say, I agree. Both of the boys would smile at each other, and Izuku says, well, we better get some rest. We got quite a while until it's time for the court date to come. Shoto agrees and says, yeah, but do you think that we could lay the mattresses down on the ground? Because it's kind of uncomfortable just letting my arms hang up like that. Mizuku would smile and they would take the beds off of the bunk frame and they would lay their mattress on the ground and sleep as comfortable as possible. Good night, bro. Good night, said Shoto. Both of the boys would fall asleep and a few days would pass and it would actually be time for the court date. Well, that could have turned out better. What do you think will happen in the next episode when Izuku goes to court? Let's all find out next time on What If Deku Was an Ice Wolf Part 9. But for right now, I'd like to bid you all a good day, and if you made it to the end of this video, consider yourselves #blessed, and I hope you all have a nice day. Goodbye.